Let's do, this Sunday we didn't get a chance to do something from the Parsha. Real sweet sikha on the Rashi that is very important. Say Shema Yisrael every day, every morning, every night. And we say Vaeschanan levanecha v'dibarta bam. What does Rashi say? What does it mean Vaeschanan levanecha? Levanecha elu. Who's levanecha? It's Parshas Vaeschanan. It's Shishi, the Aliyah of Shishi. It's already picked up. It's fine.
You okay?
Yeah, it's fine. Better than blowing straight on the face. Finally, the real New York summer kicked in. Till this week was nothing. It was a joke. Finally, the New York summer kicked in.
Whatever Hashem give us, thank you. It might be too high. Something less. Too cold.
Today with air conditioning, it's nothing to complain. It's nothing to complain. Okay, you got it? Shishi, Shema Yisrael. Shmulik, you got it?
Where are we?
Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu. V'ahavta.
Vaeschanan?
Yeah.
Page
Look at the first column. It says Vaeshanantam levanecha, says Rashi. Loshen chidudu. Vaeshanantam has to be sharp. Shem chudadim beficha. Torah has to be sharp in your mouth. Shem yishol chodam dava. If a man asks you a question, loiti hey tzarich legamgem boy. Don't stutter in it. Hep. Maybe this. No. Elo emoir loy miyad. Should be clear to you. Right away you know the answer. Levanecha, what does it mean levanecha? Says Rashi. Elo talmidim. Who do you have to teach? Your talmidim. Matzinim b'chamokim, we find every place. Your talmidim kruim bonim. The talmidim are called children. It says in the pasuk, bonim atam l'shem alekechem. You're the Abish's children. Why are they the Abish's children? Because the Abish learned Torah with the Yid. And it says, B'nei Anavim asher beiskel. The B'nei, what does it mean, B'nei Anavim? It means that the Nevi'im were teaching them, and the students are called Bonim. V'chein b'chizki yeshlim Torah l'chol Yisrael. Chizki learned Torah to all of Yidden. V'kodem Bonim, and he called them children. Shenemar ata bonai ata alti shoylu. Says Rashi. After he brings the three dayas, that b'chol mokim talmidim ekroim bonim. Shenema kshem talmidim ekroim bonim. Just like the talmidim are called bonim. Shenema bonim atam l'shem alekechem, as we said, bonim atam l'shem alekechem. Kacha Rav Kori Av. The Rav is called Av. Shenema, as it says, Ovi dechav Yisrael v'goyim. You expect that the Rebbe will have here like 55 questions. I mean, it's like it's begging for a classical sikha. It's not like, you know, complicated questions. It's asking for all the classical questions. All the classical questions. First of all, why can't Rashi say levanecha means children? Children means children. What? Can't it just be simple? Why? Why does it always have to be like this? Taka the Sifrei is a sefer of halachas. We say api halacha, levanecha talmidim. But why can't Rashi say levanecha means your children? What's wrong? Okay. And then Rashi brings a raya. 3. What's wrong with one raya? 3 dayas. Why 3 dayas? Earlier in the Torah, we had the Parshas Bamidbar. It says, Eila told us Moshe. V'Aaron, Nadav, Eli, Elazar, V'Isamar. So Rashi says, what do you mean? Nadav, Eli, Elazar, V'Isamar, they were not the children of Moshe. Because he learned with them Torah, it's as if they're his children. Over there he doesn't bring any dayas. Here he brings 3 dayas. And why doesn't he bring that pasuk as a raya? When he needs to bring a raya, so bring that pasuk. Bring that pasuk. And if you want a raya, the Rebbe says there's a whole sefer called Mishlei, and in Mishlei, 22 times Shlomo Melech calls his students Bonai. Shema Beni Musar Avicha. The first words in the pasuk over there is Ladas Chachma Umusar Lavinim Rebina. It's all written to. It's everything is Boni, Beni, Bonai, Beni. It says. It's not only that the pasuk, the last pasuk of Chizkiah, is in Divrei Hayomim. First of all, it's only once. Second, Divrei Hayomim, it's Divrei Hayomim. It's the last sefer. It's only once. Here, it's a whole sefer. It's earlier at 22 times. And Shlomo Melech is the teacher, and Klal Yisrael the Talmidim is giving them Musar, and he says Shema Beni Musar Avicha 22 times. He doesn't have to. He just say, look in the Sefer Mishlei. Turn every page, you'll see. So why couldn't Rashi bring a raya from Mishlei? Then if you look at every one of the three rayas, every one of the three rayas has something strange to it. In the pasuk, Bnei Levim Asher Vaeschanan, why is it important to know where the Bnei Levim lived? In Vaeschanan, in Yericho, in Texas, in Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Who cares? The main thing is Bnei Levim. Like Sifrei only brings Bnei Levim, but what's Nagaya? And also by Chizkiyahu. So the truth is, the Sifrei says, Melech Yehuda Shelimed Kol HaTorah Kula Liso. So Rashi doesn't say like the Sifrei. I understand. What's important that Chizkiyahu was Melech Yehuda over here in this Rashi? What's the difference if he was a Melech or not? And what's in the Geya that he learned Kol HaTorah? And if you learn one pasuk, you're still a teacher. If you learn in the Chaveda pasuk Achim Aloch Achim. So that's why Rashi doesn't say the Lashon Sifrei. But what he does say is Shalim Torah L'Chol Yisrael. What's the Geya L'Chol Yisrael? And what's if he taught only one year? It would still be his teaching. Why does it have to emphasize L'Chol Yisrael? And then in the next pasuk, it says Avi Avi. Again, he adds the words Erechav Yisrael. What's the Geya? The bottom line is Elisha was screaming to Eliyahu Avi Avi. And then also he says V'goyim. It's very unusual. Rashi says V'goyim. Rashi, usually the reason we say V'goyim is because if Moshe Rabbeinu said a full pasuk, we don't want to split his pasuk. But Rashi, he doesn't say V'goyim ever. For whatever reason, Rashi never says V'goyim. If he does say V'goyim, it means I want you to read the pasuk and finish learning it. So why is it that why is it important to finish learning that pasuk? Yeah, what's missing here? Exactly. And what's this whole emphasis? Rashi says Kishem she'atalmidim kroim bonim kach harav koru av. What's the Torah says Shnan Levanecha? It says Levanecha l'talmidim. Very important. Just like the talmidim are called children, the Rebbe, the teacher, is called a father. Why is it important? And what's the Kishem? What's Rashi trying to tell us here? Pshat is like this. So first, to understand, the main question obviously is, why can't Rashi say Vaeschanan Levanecha? Levanecha means your children. Why can't it be? So the Rebbe says, why it can't be is very simple. Why it can't be? A child, we're talking a child, as Rashi wrote, Shuta Shamikra. For a child, yeah, child comes to Cheder. Teacher says, if Shinantam Levanecha, you have to teach your children. Kid right away has a problem here. Looks around the classroom. He says, yeah. How come my tati is not learning Torah with me? How come his tati is not learning his tati? And this is not the only classroom. There's another 25 classrooms here in this building. And this is not the only yeshiva. There's another 100 yeshivas in Brooklyn. So if the Torah says it's a mitzvah, every Jew does what the Eibusha says. Every Jew does what the Eibusha says. The Torah says shenantam levanecha. No one listens to him. Question. Rashi has to say something. What do you mean? Why is it Rashi saying? He has to say. If you're teaching a child, it says in the pasuk.
The child sees that the Rebbe is seeing more than his father. So
Right. It's very incongruent. It's very confusing to a child. You're telling me, you're just teaching me the pasuk. Vaeschanan, how come my tati is not doing that? So Rashi answers, Vaeschanan levanecha ela talmidim. The talmidim are also called bani. And where do we see that in the Torah? Two places we see it very clear. One place, it says in the Torah that the Moshe Rabbeinu said, "Achalkem beYaakov, afitzem beYisrael." Sorry, Yaakov Avinu said in Parshas Vayechi. He said, "Achalkem beYaakov, afitzem." He's talking about Shimon, and Rashi says that what is he going to do to Shimon? He's going to make them soifrim amalande tenoikis. So they're going to have to travel. The troublemakers of all Shimon, they're going to go in one place. It's going to be Dimona. It's going to be Bam. So he said, you know what? Achalkem beYaakov, afitzem beYisrael. They're going to be teachers from the north to the south to the east to the west. Achalkem beYaakov. Now, so think for a moment, says the Rebbe. It's always like, it's brilliant, but so straightforward. If you would say Vaeshanantam levanecha means that every father is obligated to teach his children. No such thing as a teacher. You have to teach your children, biological children, you have to teach your children. If that was the din, that you're mechuyev to teach your own children, so then who's supposed to have a teacher? Which child is going to have a teacher? So if he's a Yosem Chas v'Shalom, right? Or his father is a big Amaoritz and knows nothing, or he's a big Rosh and he doesn't want to teach him. So now, think for a moment. Yaakov Avinu said, "Nosan tvutzose b'derech koved." He says, "I'm gonna give you a parnasa, a good parnasa, but you're never gonna be rich." The old Shevet Levi was scared. They lived together of being a bomb, so we'll give them a good living. A Malamed, he has a living, but he's never wealthy. He just about at the end of the month he pays his bills. So who's going to pay the bills for Shimon? No, if the din is that everyone has to teach his own children, Vaeshanantam levanecha. Levanecha means your biological children. So Shimon who? So a few Yisoimim, a few people who are Amaratzim, a few people who are big Rishoyim, and they don't want to do what the Eibusha says. Doesn't make sense. Obviously, Vaeshanantam levanecha means that you talmidim, and that's why Yaakov Avinu said there has to be a lot of teachers. So there have to be a lot of schools. So with Shevet, Shimon, they're going to be teachers. Furthermore, it says that Yaakov Avinu, he raised his grandson. And Yosef also raised. B'nei Mocha b'Menashe Yolda b'Birkei Yosef. He learned with them Torah. So if the din was that you are obligated to learn with your biological child Torah, you think Yaakov Avinu would steal the mitzvah from his son? And you think Yosef would steal the mitzvah from his son? So it must be that levanecha means a talmid. So, but again, the main thing is that what's bothering Rashi is that the child comes to class. It's very incongruent. What he says, I don't understand. The Torah says, put on tefillin, we put on tefillin. The Torah says to put on mezuzah, we put on mezuzah. The Torah says, teach your children, and no one listens to the Torah. They send them to school. How come my tati doesn't learn with me? So Rashi says, no. Levanecha ela talmidim, because the banecha are the talmidim.
It's a good answer.
Good answer. But you have to bring a proof for that. And not only that. Even if you're going to say that the talmidim could bonim, you could call talmidim bonim. But who says when the Eibishter said here, levanecha, that it must mean? So we already said a proof, but Rashi wants to say that really matzinu. That's what Rashi says. B'chol makom, matzinu b'chol makom. We find everywhere. Rashi wants to say, in the whole Torah we find that that's the way it is. That when the Eibishter says levanecha, it means matzinu b'chol makom shetalmidim krayim, all the places. So therefore Rashi, that's one reason why Rashi brings 3 psukim. All the places. What's all the places? He brings 3 psukim. One from Torah, one from Nevi'im, and one from Psukim. First pasuk from Torah, the second from Nevi'im, the third from Psukim. Rashi wants all the places. You're asking me why? Okay, you could call a Talmud Ben, but why does the Torah choose to do so? So Rashi says, but Makol Makom is everywhere. Once in Torah, once in Nevi'im, once in Psukim. That's one pshat. And then the Rebbe says a deeper pshat. That each raya itself doesn't stand. Why? The first raya is it says that what? The Eibishter says, Bonim atam l'Hashem alakeichem, your children to God. Why? Because the Eibishter teaches you Torah. Who says that that's the reason why we're called? Maybe because the Eibishter loves the Yid. It's an expression in Yiddish when you love someone. What do you say? Kind meine, my son. It's in English, right? Sonny.
Sonny boy.
Right. So what's the pshat? If you love someone, because there's no love like a parent to a child. So when you want to tell someone you love them, you call them a son. So the Eibishter, like the Baal Shem Tov said, that if there were people that didn't get married and for years they had no children, and then when they got old they had one son. They would love him, they would spoil him to death. The Eibishter loves every Jew more than these parents love their child. So, why does the Eibishter call us children? He loves us even more. But obviously, you understand that Dibra Torah Koloshim B'nei Adam, L'Shachich Es Ha'odim Mashi Yechaylu L'Shmoya. You have to talk to people their language they can hear. You know, sometimes also, sometimes when we see. I was talking to someone today. He said, he was reading a book about a whole thing about this professor in Harvard who was telling his students that you have one day of the week you have to rest. Turn off your cell phone, your iPhone, your tablets. One day, otherwise, the brain is only creative when you have a quiet moment. The brain is only creative when you have a quiet moment. So he says, wow, I said to myself, this is Shabbos. This is Shabbos. And then he says to me, I said to myself, what was the big wow from this professor in Harvard? I've been learning it from when I was a little child in Cheder. But sometimes, when you learn a Cheder, but you read it in the book, and it's, so if you're going to say the Eibishter loves it, you have to say people should be able to hear it. You can't say dvarei be'oznecha. What the ear can hear. Torah spoke the layman language. So if the Eibishter wants to say, I love you, he says, you're my children. You're my children. So what's the proof that a teacher is called a father and a student is called a child from the Torah saying, maybe over there the Eibishter wants to say that he loves the children. Even furthermore, who says it that they're called children because of Torah? Maybe they're called children because of the mitzvahs. Even though Chassidus we say that when a Yid does mitzvahs, he's more like a servant. When a Yid learns Torah, he's more like a son. Okay, up Chassidus we say that once we already know that Vaeschanan Talmidim, we say that when we learn Torah, we're the Eibishter's son. When we do his mitzvahs, we're his servant. We're doing his service. But be'emes, if you think about this, a son could also mean someone who's getting everything that they need from me. Someone that gets everything they need from me is called a son. You know the old American joke about this man, his daughter's engaged, and the boy is a yeshiva boy. So he comes to the shver. The shver asks him, what are your plans in life? So he says, Be'ezus Hashem, the Eibishter will help us. And what do you plan to do for a living? The Eibishter will help. And how will support a family? The Eibishter will help. So, so after the boy leaves, so the wife says, "No, what do you think about the boy?" He says he's a great boy, but the guy is clueless. There's bad news and good news. The bad news is he's clueless. He has no prospects and he has no plans. So she says, "So what's the good news, Rabbi Yochanan?" She said, "The good news is he thinks I'm God." Right? So if someone you support him his whole life, you know, bam tat nafim kest. So the Eibishter is a zonas olam kula betuvi b'chem b'chesed b'rachma. And what does it say before Matan Torah? It says b'ni b'choyri Yisrael. So the Pashup Pshat is that everyone is God's children, but the Jewish people are the b'choyr. The Goyim are God's children. So again, in Pshutei Shel Mikra, what does that mean? Pashut, if you're learning it means that God supports the whole world. And if someone, you're eating out of his hand, everything, he gives you everything you need. He's called like your father. So,
Rabbi, I think Shinantam Levanecha v'Dibarta Bam with double Lashon, maybe one for the Talmidim, one for the children. Why it says Shinantam Levanecha, and then v'Dibarta Bam? Why double?
So maybe Rashi has a pshat. Rashi has a different pshat than you, but you can say your own pshat. It's fine. Okay. So, but that's not Rashi's pshat. You can say your pshat, but you can say in Chumash Shivim Ponim. That's not what Rashi says. So we see from here that it's a nice pshat. I'm trying to understand Rashi. So we see from here that, so we could say that the Eibishter, because he gives them, why Bonim Atam Lashem Alekeichem Atam? When the other pasuk it says only you, Bonim Atam. Why Bonim Atam? It can't be because he feeds them, because the whole world he feeds them. Over there we say B'ni B'choyri Yisrael. Everyone is children; they're the oldest. When we say Bonim Atam, only the Jews are the Bonim. It must be something special. But who says that something special is Torah? Maybe it's mitzvahs. So therefore, the first pasuk is not a slam dunk raya. It's not a full raya. The first raya that Rashi brings, that the bonecha ela talmidim, that your children are your students, is from Bonim Atam L'Shem Elokeichem, because it says that you're children to Hashem. But maybe that pasuk is not talking about learning Torah. Maybe that pasuk is talking about the Eibishter sustains them, or even deeper, the Eibishter gives them mitzvahs. So therefore Rashi has to bring a second raya. What's the second raya? It says B'nei Anavim. B'nei Anavim. What does it mean, B'nei Anavim? Because the Anavim were teaching them. We're not their children. They were not their biological children. So the question is, maybe no. It says Yaakov went to B'nei Kedem, or it says a korban has to be Ben Shona. Ben Shona means the son of Shona. B'nei Kedem means the son of Kedem. No, B'nei Kedem means the people of Kedem. Ben Shona means a year old. B'nei Navim doesn't have to mean the children or the students of Navim. B'nei Navim could mean holy people. Holy people, special people, B'nei Navim, Heilige Menschen, Nevuah Menschen. That's why Rashi says, Asher Bevaeschanan. These were the people in Vaeschanan. Who are the people in Vaeschanan? If you have to know a little bit of Tanakh and history to know that this was the center of Avodah Zarah in Israel from the days of Yevravam ben Avat. That's where he put those Avodah Zarahs. That was the center of Avodah Zarah. Furthermore, what happened in the times of Eliyahu Navi? Exactly. What happened in the time of Eliyahu Navi? That Izabel hated the Nevi'im and she went and she killed all of them. Besides, Ovadia was hiding the 100 Nevi'im, 50 in one cave, 50 in the other cave, right? So when we say, so now what happens? There was no Nevi'im around. There was no real Nevi'im around. Then it says that right before the day Eliyahu Navi passed away, so that day the Eibishter made that even the Nevi Sheker said the emes. So Elisha was going with his Eliyahu Navi, and wherever he went to Vaeschanan, Vayetzu b'nei Nevi'im asher Vaeschanan Elisha, Vayomru Elav Hayadata ki hayoim Hashem Elokecha Sadenecha. The Eibishter is taking Eliyahu Navi today. So he said, Yodati, Hechshu, Shrei, I don't want to hear from you. So they went to Yericho. V'yikshu b'nei hanevim asher b'Yericho l'Elisha v'emra l'vayadatek hayom Hashem l'kecha sodenach. He said, quiet. Stop blabbering. Echshu. Okay, then Eliyahu says, come, we're going to the Yarden. And then the 50 people are standing and they're watching from the Bnei Nevi'im. And Eliyahu takes his aderes, his coat, his jacket, his kapota, and he hits the water, and the water split. And Elisha says to Eliyahu says to Elisha, "Hey, that's it. What's your final request?" So he says, "I want to be Pishnaim Beruchacha. I want to have double of your spirit." So he says that's going to be. And all of a sudden there is a rechav of Eish, and Susei Eish, and all of a sudden Eliyahu goes up Asahora B'Shamayim, and Elisha sees and he screams, "Ovi, Ovi, rechav Yisrael, Uparoshav, V'lo Ra'o Oid, V'yachzik B'Goda, V'yikroim L'Shnayim Kroim." And then he picks up the Aderes Eliyahu that fell off from Eliyahu while he was flying into the heaven, and again he hit the Yarden, and the Yarden split for him. And that's when the Yidden saw that really Elisha was. Yeah. And then the Torah tells us all kinds of stories that happened, and it really was Pishnayim. So that's the story here. V'meila, these Bnei Nevi'im, once you tell me the end of the pasuk, Hashem Vaeschanan, so I know that these were not holy people. These were other people. So why are they called Bnei Nevi'im? Not because they were holy people. Because there were teachers and there were students, and they were the students. They were Bnei Nevi'im. That's why Rashi has to bring the whole pasuk. That's why Rashi brings the Bnei Nevi'im to bring as a raya. To bring it as a raya.
That's in Chizkiyahu, no?
No, that's the second raya.
Yeah, the second before.
Yeah.
The last raya.
Yeah, but the emphasis, it's not a pol raya, because maybe between the story of Izrael killing the Nevi'im and now, maybe in between, people did tshuva and Bnei Nevi'im, they were real Nevi'im and they were holy people. And Bnei Nevi'im doesn't mean the children, the students. It means holy people. We don't know. So therefore Rashi brings a third raya. What's the third raya? From Chizkiyahu Melech Yehuda, that he called the Yidden children. So you could say, what do you mean? He's a king. He was the manig of Klal Yisrael. He was like a shepherd. He took care of all the Yidden. He was in a very historically. He was in a very tumultuous time. There was Sanchedav came around, and Chizkiyahu did all kinds of things to. Right today, you go to Israel, and you can go to today outside the Shtar Hashbosses. They have this whole waterway under the ground, which Chizkiyahu Melech Yehuda dug. These are from the things that but he provided for Klal Yisrael in a spectacular way. So maybe that's why he calls them children. But it's no other king ever calls the Yidden children. So why Eliyahu? Why Chizkiyahu? Because he was the limit Torah l'Chol Yisrael. Because he was different, and he taught Torah to all the Yidden. So you could say, okay, maybe the fact that he provided for them, plus he loved with them, that's why they're called his children. So that's why Rashi also has the first and second raya. So between the three rayas, you have a raya that Bonim are called Talmidim. And again, as I said before, that Rashi also wants to bring B'chol Mokim. So Rashi wants to bring B'chol Mokim means three rayas. One from Torah, one from Nevi'im, and one from Ksuvim. That's why he brings three rayas.
The last one is Ksuvim. From what?
The last is Ksuvim, Divrei Yomim.
What was the third one?
The one is from Torah, the first pasuk. Second from Nevi'im, and the third from Ksuvim. So we see B'chol Mokim in the whole Torah that always Talmidim are called Bonim. Now, we said why is it that you can't bring Sefer Mishlei? Why can't you bring Sefer Mishlei over there? Shema B'ni Musa Revicha 22 times it says B'ni. So he says, so the Rebbe says, Mishlei not necessarily is the best raya because it could be Shlomo was teaching it to his son. This was Musa that Shlomo Melech gave to his son Rechovam, and then he wrote it as a sefer. But it also makes sense that Talmidim are called Bonim. But Rashi here wants to bring a raya that Talmid, B'chol Makom, Talmidim are only called Bonim. So that's not a good raya from Mishlei. Rashi wants to say that that's B'chol Makom, that's the way to call Talmidim, to call Bonim. So that's not an absolute raya from Mishlei. Okay. Then Rashi goes along and says, just like the student is called a child, the teacher is called a father. Why is it negated to know that? Because we're talking now about the mitzvah of teaching your students. It says, Vaeschanan, Rashi says, be very sharp on your tongue. I have to learn with other people. I have to learn so much with other Yidden that the learning should be sharp. Maybe if you're telling me I have to learn with my biological children, so just like I have to take care of food and shelter, I have to make sure that they grow up mentioned and that they Torah is mechudadim beficha. But also my students, I'm mechuyev to teach them that should be mechudadim beficha. So that's what Rashi says. Yep. You're a father. To your students, you're a father. To your students, you're a father. Yep. You got to teach you that you have to put in so much koiches to your talmidim, like you'd put for your own biological children. And that's why he brings that ayah for Shenemi Avi, and he adds the Rechav Yisrael, and then V'goymer, also it says B'farashim. Elisha called his Rebbe Leon Avi, my father. What does it mean, Rechav? What's a Rechav? Suz V'roichve, Rama Vayam. A chariot. Where do you go with those chariots? War. So this is not talking about buggies. Rechav is the special thing that you go at war. Which kind of war are we talking about? Who's going out on war? But this Malchamta Shal Torah. If a person learns a little here, a little there, Shalashudis Torah, you can't have a war with this guy. But if a person is learning Torah, so then he's thinking about it. Is this the pshat? Is that the pshat? And then he's having an argument with himself. He's having an argument with someone else. So a real father makes sure that his children grow up not only knowing a little bit of knowledge, but they should have the kalim, they should have the tools to use the knowledge in a good way. So that's why that was a Leonavi. He was a teacher that not only gave the rechev, v'goymer, also the paroshim. Paroshim is the person who rides it.
Oh, that's why
he not only
here he said v'goymer.
Yeah.
Teach you.
Not only do you need to get right.
It's not enough to pay too
Not only to give the rechev to the students, you also have to give them parashah. Not only to give them the tools, but to teach them how to use the tools. So that's why Rashi brings all this. Now we understand all the protim in this Rashi. So again, to capsulize the whole thing is that the child comes to school and the Rebbe learns with him the Parsha of Shema. He's a Vaeschanan, and the child doesn't understand. This is crazy. My father's not doing what the Eibishter said. And my friend, and his father, and the other father. So that right away Rashi says, no. And the child says, you're kidding me. You could call a student a child. And Rashi says, no. That's the real child. The real child is the student. B'chol makom, and the whole Torah is that way. And he brings 3 dayas, one from Torah, one Nevi, and one from Tzuvah. And that's another pshat that as we went through all the dayas, every daya has a little bit of a shvacha thing in it. Therefore, all 3 dayas together is a good daya. And then Rashi says furthermore, the teacher is responsible for his students, just like a father is for the children. And we learn from Eliyahu Navi, the way Eliyahu Navi was close to Elisha, that you have to be an Ovi, you have to give Rechav, you have to give Parasha. What's the lesson of Avodas Hashem? The Rebbe says very simple. The lesson of Avodas Hashem is twofold. One is that we have to be responsible for every Yid. If we bump into a Jew, that's a Hashgocha and that's a Hiroah. If the Eibush was Mazman, that we bumped into a Jew, that means that we have to teach him Torah. And what way we have to teach him Torah? We have to teach him if you're responsible, like a father. Then we have to give him the rechev, we have to give him the parashah. So that's where Rashi says v'goymer. You have to finish the job. Don't only teach him a little bit. You're makarev him a little bit to Yiddishkeit.
Like your son.
V'goymer. Finish the job. That's the end of v'goymer. Finish the job. V'goymer. Rechev v'goymer. Finish the job. So you're going to say, I did him a favor along with him, right? That's the shlichus of your neshama. And that's when you become a father. You become a father. Just like the Eibush is called the father to Eden, you become a father. You become a real father, you become close to the Eibush, the Dafka, v'goymer, when you finish your job. And then Rashi picks that bring a raya from the story of Eliyahu. Why Eliyahu? Because to be meramas, when you learn with other Yidden, like Eliyahu, you learn with his students. Ovi, you feel responsible like a father. So then just like, what's special about Eliyahu Navi? Eliyahu Navi is the Mavasar HaGiyula. That's Eliyahu Navi, is the Mavasar HaGiyula. So the Rebbe has a murder kavod here. This is going to be the end. It's like, what does it say about Mashiach? No one has to teach someone else. If someone knows nothing, you have to teach him everything. If you teach him 50% of Torah, that 50% you don't have to teach him anymore. He knows that already, right? When you teach someone, we're coming closer to the time. We want to be zoichet, a time when everyone will know Torah so much they won't need a teacher. That's in the schus of today, when Yidden go out and feed the other Yidden and teach them Torah in a way that that it's going to be sharp to them and sweet to them and it will be good to them and it will be responsible. And so therefore now we don't have to teach them anymore once we teach them so well. So in that schus we'll have Eliyahu Navi who's the Mavasar HaGiyula to tell us that Mashiach Tzidkenu is coming, and then Kimol Oretz Deis Hashem, and Lo Yolmudu Ish Yisraelu, because Mashiach Tzidkenu will come.